Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's end of the day and a lot of sessions in last 2 days, more than 100 sessions, and I can guess. So my name is Anitha Dakamarri. I'm a lead security engineer at Donnelly Financial Solutions. I'm also a volunteer and mentor in international groups like IC Square, ISACA, Women in Cybersecurity, and I also teach high school through TEALS, a Microsoft program for, it's a non-profit program. And I also active volunteer at Treasure Vessel Foundation that is located in Frisco. It's a sex trafficking saving survivors group. So I volunteer and I provide and little help there. And also, maybe you might have a question in your mind: why a security person is speaking at a developer conference? Because I believe business developers are the first line of defense. Because business people come, they give you requirement, and project management people come and give you schedule. Security people like me come and give you a security requirement. Leadership come and give you the budget. But who are the one who actually implementing a product? Developers, right? They are the one who digest the requirements and build those products, including security, having security baked into the product. So before I move into that, how security baked into a product, I wanted to ask, how many of you like working with your security teams? I'm glad we have a couple hands because maybe they are from security. How many of you don't like working with security? You're not big. I like that honest answer. May I know why?
Caused an outage last week.
They caused the outage?
Outage, yeah.
Security people got the outage? Okay.
Requirement to have Sentinel-1 on our servers and felt the need to remove some software off the system.
They might have caused outage, but I believe they might have saved you from a big breach. You never know. The requirements all set for that. Yeah.
So we had filed an exception to make sure that we don't remove that software off the system.
Exceptions are for internal, sir. All my whole life, all 18 years of experience in technology, I've been closely working with developers and project managers. Exceptions are only for the internal, but the external world, those attackers doesn't really care about exceptions. They want to just look for an open gate. When they say open gate, they want to sneak in. Either it is a cracked window or an open door. So I understand your frustration because I dealt with many every day, believe me, in my life. So how security is baked into development lifecycle? So it's a overall picture, it's a high-level picture where in any software development lifecycle, you have different phases, right? You have requirement, design, coding, testing, and production, right? So at each phase of software development lifecycle, you have a lot of stuff to do, from the project management side, from the security side. So from the security side, if you take the requirement phase, we're gonna do architecture reviews, and we're gonna do in the design phase, we're gonna do threat modeling. And in the coding phase, we do source code reviews, which is also called SAST, Static Application Security Testing. And we also do software composition analysis, which is called open source software security. And also the testing, we do dynamic application security testing and pre-production penetration testing, make sure that product is safe to launch or push to the production. So that's how we bake security into the product. And when I say I always include developers and security team together. Before, we used to see it as separate silos, but now they're the same team. They're not opponent teams. They're the same team. The opponent team is always attackers. So that's what I say. So we make sure that we bake security into the life cycle so that, we deliver a less vulnerable product. So the one that I was talking about, open source software, comes in the coding phase. When we do source code reviews, we also scan open source software libraries, or you call it as like, software packages. So what is the current issues with that? So when we scan open source softwares from your code repos, the most of time it doesn't sync with the manifest file. Most of you understand what is a manifest file, right? A manifest file is the one which has all the details. Like manifest file has something, a absolute version of software, but in actual source code repo is not having that vulnerable version. So our tools are not intelligent. They're not humans. They just find out, hey, there is an absolute software and there is a vulnerability. That is what I take it, right? But the problem is that those both doesn't sync. We still think, like, we fight with all the time with engineering team. Hey, you did not update your manifest file. That's why we flag this vulnerability. Now we have to mark it as a false positive. That negotiation always happens. And alternate packages. So if you go on GitHub page, you might have gone in your life, right? Like GitHub page, and when you download those software packages or libraries, like an NPM packages or Telerik or Log4j, whatever it is. So most of those times, those libraries are not updated. Authors build them, and after that, most of the time they move to a next one building. They're not often updated like a proprietary software, right? Like if you have a Microsoft, Microsoft software or something else, a proprietary, it updates the software and send you. You have your mobile phone. Your mobile phone get updated every time. Like, you get notification. You have to, update your iOS, right? So likewise, open source libraries are not often updated. So getting an alternate package is not an easy job. Since we use the obsolete softwares in our applications, in our product, so you definitely pile up technical debt. That is one of the issue. More important, legal risk and poor supply chain management, because you don't know what components that you're using in your product, because we have like a big development group, and each developer has like his own way of getting the packages and using those packages in the development life cycle. And it's not easy to have that check for that supply chain risk. Legal risk, of course. Companies using open source software in their application must comply with the licenses particular to that region. This is one of the examples that I wanted to give. Like InFlight is one of the famous packages that you all might have used in your life, right? That is a old, obsolete, it is like maybe 9 years ago, 10 years ago, someone developed, and the author was very responsible. I wanted to really give credit to him, because he was upfront saying this module is not supported. It leaks, it has issues with the memory leakage and something like that. But not all the others are that responsible. They're not accountable. They just develop and keep it there. And developers, I don't blame them, because they're always behind the timelines. Project management people come and always ask, you have to build this feature in next sprint. They don't check anything. They just go and get from the GitHub or get from the internet and use this package, and who knows that package is what. You want me to give a good example? NPM. Any one of you heard this NPM supply chain attack last couple weeks? Right? This is the biggest supply chain attack. I was literally not sleeping that day night, okay? Because NPM is most used package, and one of the attacker, he actually was able to compromise the author email and launched a malware. And that malware is a self-replicating malware. Means it just comes to your network and it can just replicate itself. It is not going, it is immortal now. It never dies. So unless you have a very tight security perimeter. So in that situations, how open source software scanning, and the most important that I'm going to talk about today is SBOM, Software Bill of Materials, is going to help. For example, once the security advisor is released on a compromised NPM package, so what we do, security team always just go to developers and ask, how many packages you have in your product? Product teams I think we have 5. Are you going to update in next week? Because we have a malware, now widely going outside. It is being exploited. They were like, no, We're not going to do it. We go for exception. That's what I was saying. We go for exception, but the attacker doesn't care about exceptions. So if you have SBOM, software bill of materials, that will help you immediately search for the exact package within your application, entire directory, including the dependencies. You have transitive dependencies and you have direct dependencies, right? I don't need to explain what is that because most of us know it. So SCA tools can use SBOMs to proactively block risky malware, malicious packages. So without SBOM, security and development teams, we are forced most of time. Not only security team, right? Security team just doing their job. When it comes, there is some big Log4j situation. When Log4j happened 3 years ago, right before Thanksgiving holiday night, everyone was just, I literally remember, everyone put their out of office note, and then it just came. Then we got so many calls Log4j is there, and then we are rolling on the floors to find out the details of how many Log4j is installed in our environment. We have to roll back them. We have to actually make sure nothing is exposed to the internet. So in those situations, having SBOM will help, especially in fast-moving supply chain attacks like NPM. Malicious packages can spread like a worm. So SBOM is going to be a cure, I would say. So I've been talking about SBOM. What is SBOM? Maybe you haven't heard. Anyone heard what is SBOM? Thank you. That make me feel better, So SBOM is a formal record containing details of all ingredients of your product. You're creating a product. What are the components, including proprietary, open source, free or paid, all your details in a formal static list. Why we need that list? I'll give you a live example. One day, one of the customer has asked us, hey, what are the libraries and what are the softwares that has been used in this product before renewal, before signing the contract with the business? So we went and asked. It was back in I think 2010. So we went and asked product team. They gave a list. We wanted to double verify that, cross-check that list. We went to procurement team. They said different list. We went to project management team. What are the, list of softwares that is used? It could be a simple list, Java, database, whatever it is. Procurement team gave different list. SRE team gave different list. So each department has different list of ingredients for the same product. That is not true, right? So SBOM helps to have a single unified static list of ingredients of that product. So if something happens, if that department is not available, or if that particular developer who is the primary owner of that product is not available, at least we know what exists in that product. So SBOM helps in that way. And also it helps to identify vulnerabilities, in case of Log4j and NPM, those situations. And also, why identifying and avoiding these vulnerabilities is very important. It's a proactiveness, right? Reactive is once you got hit, you're putting a band-aid. Proactive is making sure that we don't fall in that area so that you don't get hurt. So proactiveness is very important, especially coming to the security. That's how we use SBOM going to help. Okay, so I hope I want to ask another question. How many of you heard DevSecOps? Thanks. It's you guys making me, I know that it's less people here, but you're making my day good. So DevSecOps is DevOps is where you're making sure a product is delivered fast, smooth, in a CI/CD pipeline, right? DevSecOps is making sure to have a fast, smooth, safe deployments so that product is released to the production with minimum security guaranteed. In that, how SBOM works. For example, when you push a build, what it happens, if you have SBOM, SBOM is a framework. It is not a tool. Please make a note. It is not a tool. It is a framework. That framework has to be implemented through a tool. So when it is in the pipeline, when you push the build, SBOM is updated from the manifest file. Okay, this particular build has these many libraries, which includes everything. SBOM includes everything, like in open source, proprietary software, everything. Then it actually checks, it is connected with the National Vulnerability Database, which is called NVD, maintained by NIST. So it connects with that and check for any open vulnerabilities, known vulnerabilities, and it gives you a prompt. It has now with AI, there is an option, it can auto update that vulnerable software. But we don't want to do that because we are a fear of losing the functionality, causing outages. We don't do that. But it prompts and saying like, there is a package with this CVE, a critical CVE or critical vulnerability. Do you want to upgrade or do you want to update or you do want to go for this alternate? It gives that level of details. At least you can plan for next sprint, right? This sprint you can get an exception, but next sprint you can go for changing that package or updating the package. And after once it is done, in meanwhile, SCA, open source software scanning tools, which security wants, SBOM is always with the engineering teams or SRE teams. SCA is with security teams. So together, once the build is pushed, SBOM at engineering team is updated. SCA tool at the other end is performing scanning, actual scanning, and looking out for those malicious packages, those vulnerable packages, and giving you actual list of vulnerabilities. Those two together make sure that the product is push it to the production with less vulnerabilities, or at least give you a picture of, okay, this is all the list of the things that we have. So we can accept the risk before it going to the production together. And so I have been talking about a lot about SBM and SCA, right? Software Bill of Materials and SCA. I wanted to give a little note about the differences. I don't want you guys to get confused. So SBOM is a static, complete inventory list. You have a product A. Product A has Java, .NET, or whatever it is, and what are the nested packages it has. It's going to have all the full complete inventory list. Whereas SCA has, it is like very more of dynamic nature. It performs, identify, and detect. It is for detecting vulnerabilities in your existing software. So SBOM is not a tool, it is a framework. To implement that framework, we need tools like Cyclone DX or SPDX, whatever. And whereas SCA is tools. We have SCA. SCA is a technology name. We have SCA tools in the market like Checkmarx, Veracode, HP45, whatever you can take. And the scope is, as I mentioned, SBOM is very comprehensive. SBOM is comprehensive, and whereas SCA is very focused. And benefits of using SBOM and SCA. Benefits is enhanced transparency. You have rapid responses in case of any incidents like NPM or Log4j. Very important, vendor reputation. SBOM provides vendor reputation. When you're downloading a package, either it is like NPM, in-flight, or any of the software package, there was a session about next.js. That is one of the open source packages too, right? So if you're downloading that, it gives you the reputation of the author, reputation of the vendor, saying like, okay, he's been in this, in field of, developing this, and it has been updated ago, and it is expected to update in next cycle or something like that. It provides you the vendor reputation. And SCA, whereas it helps with detection and automation of automated remediation. So if you want to, it's a funny analog. If you wanted to differentiate both, SBOM is more like a ingredient label on a food. Like if you purchased some cookie packet, it is the ingredient list. All the software list, if you have a product A, that's a list of softwares that is used in that product. SCA is a food safety inspector. checking those ingredients are up to the FDA mark or not. So one is a list, the other one is an inspector for detection. So for me, having one of it will help you, but that's not the best solution. Having both SC and SBOM are a powerful duo because they perform two different but complementary things. They complement each other, but having those two will help, especially developer teams, because security team doesn't bug you if you have these two together, right? We just bug you for only remediation. We don't bug you for how many softwares you are using, how many NPM packages you have. Literally, sometimes you have to go by each code repo and count how many packages you have. You have to go to your ADO or you have to go to your code repos and count it. So that kind of headache you can remove if you have two together. So the key takeaways for today is SCA is more dynamic, helps with your detection. SBOM is more static, it helps with prevention because you know what you have. You can't secure what you don't know, right? You only secure what you know. SCA and SBOM work together best, and quick incident response and increased transparency is the main goal for having both together. Very important. SBOM is going to get obsolete soon because we have AI bomb. AI is everywhere, so AI bomb is coming. AI bomb is the one which is going to be, include both, SBOM and AI bomb. Together, it is going to be AI bomb. That's the future. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. And also, that's the only social media that I'm existed, LinkedIn. Please connect with me if you can. And I'm ready to take any questions. I know we have 3 more minutes.
Do you recommend any specific tools for SCA?
That will be endorsing someone. I think we are not according to rules, but I would say I have used. I can say we have used in my entire career. We have used Checkmarks, we have used Fortify, we have used Veracode. All those are very good tools out there in the market. If you look into the Gartner index, you can find more. But those are all actually very fast moving along with AI. I have seen Checkmarks and Veracode and Fortify and other tools even coming up and talking about incorporating AI automated remediation. Now developers don't even need to sit and do some coding to remediate. It just give you prompt of this. You want to fix it, just copy paste it. That is going to happen. So I would recommend is according to your business fit, budget fit, right? A tool that will fit your business goals and budget goals. Any more questions? All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.